In just the last 72 hours, America's bomber force has struck nearly 200 targets deep inside of Iran, including U.S. B-2 bombers dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs targeting deeply buried ballistic missile launchers.
And in Lebanon, the second front of this war is widening. They say the number of ballistic missiles fired has decreased by 90%. Iran still seems able to lash out at targets across the region.
Explosions in Beirut as U.S.-Israel pressure on Iran intensifies. A major escalation is unfolding in the Middle East tonight. Moments ago, a powerful explosion was reported in Beirut, adding another flashpoint to a conflict that is rapidly expanding across the region. This comes after a wave of overnight attacks targeting Iran. According to U.S. Central Command, hundreds of military targets were struck, including facilities connected to Iranist drone operations. Newly released military footage shows precision strikes hitting what officials say was a drone carrier vessel linked to Iranian forces. At the same time, the political rhetoric surrounding the conflict is becoming increasingly intense. President Donald Trump issued a stark warning to Tehran, saying the only acceptable outcome for Iran would be unconditional surrender. The phrase carries heavy historical weight, echoing the language used at the end of World War II, and signals that Washington may be pushing for a complete collapse of Iran's current military posture before any negotiations take place. Meanwhile, Israel appears to be entering a new phase of its military campaign. Israeli warplanes launched additional strikes across southern Beirut, targeting infrastructure believed to be connected to Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed militant group that has long operated in Lebanon. Military officials say the focus is now shifting toward heavily fortified underground bunkers believed to store missiles and drones. Overnight, dozens of Israeli fighter jets reportedly struck a large subterranean complex tied to Hezbollah leadership, with officials claiming the facility was severely damaged. Analysts monitoring the conflict say the results have been immediate. Early battlefield assessments suggest that Iran's ability to launch ballistic missiles and drone attacks has dropped sharply since the first phase of strikes began. According to military sources, missile launches have declined by roughly 90%, while drone activity has fallen by more than 80% compared to the opening days of the operation. Still, officials cautioned that the situation remains volatile. Reports from inside Tehran describe one of the most intense nights residents have experienced in years. Witnesses say explosions echoed across the city as plumes of gray and black smoke rose above several districts. One of the reported targets was an underground command complex, believed to house senior Iranian leadership. Israeli aircraft are said to have carried out repeated bombing runs against the facility. But the conflict is no longer confined to a single battlefield. Concerns are growing that the war is beginning to spill into neighboring regions. In the Caucasus, tensions have already started rising after an Iranian drone strike reportedly hit an airport in Zablzhan, injuring several people and prompting the country to evacuate its embassy staff from Iran. With multiple nations now being pulled into the crisis and military operations intensifying across several fronts, the question many analysts are asking tonight is no longer whether the conflict will expand, but how far it could spread.